My name is Carlos Andre Guisao, and today I talk you about analysis of factors affecting the adoption of IFRS in an emerging economy. Um, okay, for Science Direct, I investigate something ac- in an account, but today I told you about NIIF. Okay, I'm started. First introduction. Okay, the trend of globalization and the increase in international trade have urgently required countries to adopt IFRS quickly. The primary objective of applying accounting standards are to increase transparency and comparability of accounting information and to improve the information environment of enterprise, thereby contribute to the reduction of income inequality. With more than with more than 1,600 countries currently allowing or requiring the adoption of IFRS for financial reporting. IFRS adoption has become an essential component of globalization, indicating accounting convergence. One could affirm that applying IFRS is, is both a right and a responsibility of enterprises, as it fulfills the need for consistency and enhance the quality of financial statement information for users. Countries that apply the same international standards will simplify accounting procedures and unify and language and financial statement. This has overcome the long-standing shortcomings of financial statement prepared according to the national accounting system, helping avoid misunderstanding about financial information that can lead to negative consequences for the economy. As a result, it provides investors with a more comprehensive view of the economy, boosting the performance of emerging capital markets. The results of many studies assert the effectiveness of applying IFRS in different countries. The application of IFRS not only improves the quality of financial statements, but also helps to reduce income management, facilitate timely loss recognition, and provide more relevant values for her more in it enhances analysis ability to forecast earning and promote investment while aligning income with sustainable values. The studies of also show that companies that apply IFRS have income consistent with value, become more sustainable, and have a significantly higher level of corporate social responsibility disclosure than companies that do not apply IFRS. At the same time, using IFRS increases the relevance of information, improving the comparability of data. If contribute to a stock price increases and liquidity, attracting FDI in the short term. Research on IFRS is widely published worldwide, but research on factor influencing, inhibiting or promoting the adoption of IFRS at the national level is insignificant. Understanding the factors that affect the application of IFRS in enterprises is crucial for success. It also enables accounting policymakers to develop a practical roadmap for IFRS implementation and helps business find optimal solution to apply IFRS successfully in their business activities. Rec- Recognize that audit committee attribute impact IFRS compliance and the financial reporting quality is higher than other corporate governance mechanisms. Find the large companies have higher degree of compliance with IFRS disclosure requirement than others. After that, the compliance. I'm sorry. I'm going to for here, and I will. I follow for that. After that, the international comparability of financial statements under IFRS can only be achieved if the standards are interpreted and applied consistently across countries. Acknowledge that globalization, accounting regulators, and political circumstance I'm sorry, possibly relate to IFRS adoption. While cultural and accounting development hurt IFRS adoption, one interesting thing about their study results is that the Saudi Arabian religion does not affect IFRS adoption, revealed that in countries with high economic growth, along with the popular legal system and advanced education, the, like, the, like, the likelihood of IAS or IFRS adoption is more elevated, indicate a two-way causal relationship between most developed behavioral variables and the decision to adopt or not accept IFRS. IFRS. Okay. Their study also demonstrates that the choice of IFRS by developed country is primarily legitimate by institutional and social pressures, institutional isomorphisms, specify the diversity of opinions and arguments among different stakeholder groups over different periods, and favor of mandatory IFRES adoption. Okay, is aware the factors such as religion, culture, and local investor may influence, limit, affect, and adopting IFRS and Islamic banks. Research by refs has shown that for S- SMEs, a country is more likely to apply IFRS if it lacks a specific set of accounting financial standards, has a common law legal system, and the government has extensive experience and familiarity with IFRS. Moreover, again confirms that adopting IFRS for SMEs is significantly related to the quality of law enforcement, culture, transaction, networks, and economic growth. As a developing country and emerging economy in Asia, the need to apply IFRS in Vietnam is becoming increasingly urgent. In Vietnam in 1999, the Ministry of Finance started researching and drafting accounting standards. Initial 26 based in 2001, sorry, 2005, enterprises in Vietnam began to apply these standards. However, preparing and giving accounting standard is unprofessional. The content is outdated and is still far from IFRS. The state of Vietnam has set out a roadmap to apply IFRS in three phases. 1. From 2020 2020 to 2021, the Ministry of Finance prepares the necessary condition to pre-IFRS 2 from 2022 and 2025 enterprise voluntary apply IFRS if there is a need and no resource. And 3. After 2025, compulsory submission of consolidated financial statement for certain group of business up to now October 25. Phase 1 has ended. I was hand and phase 2 has been started for more than half a year. But most of the work of phase I has not been complete. The fact shows that with the proposed roadmap, the application of IFRS in Vietnam will face many challenges and barriers. The challenge mentioned above highlight the urgent need to study and consider the factors that affect the application of IFRS and Vietnam Vietnamese enterprise. Vietnamese enterprise. Okay, I'm sorry. This will serve as basis for promoting and guiding enterprise to adopt IFRS successfully. This study aims to examine the relationship between the application of IFRS and the influencing factors to answer the question: what factor affected the application of IFRS in Vietnamese enterprises? What are the elements, influence levels, and trends under IFRS application in Vietnamese enterprise? The impetus for this study confront the recent moves of the government of Vietnam on the mandatory and voluntary application of IFRS. Enterprise to ensure the quality of financial statement meet the accounting conversion requirement and protect investors' interests. Over the past, several studies refer to the application of IFRS in Vietnam, examining to the impact of factors belonging to the enterprise on application IFRS. Identifying factors affecting the application of IFRS in Vietnam in the eyes of business managers and auditors. Examining the causal relationship between accountants' awareness and willingness to apply IFRS, analysis the applicability of IAS IFRS, estimate the benefit and disadvantage of applying IFRS. In particular, is to investigate the contextual strategy process of IFRS during the transition from totalitarianism to a capitalist economy and the tensions between the parties involved define the market demand triggers IFRS contextualization, which is institutionalized by the state, although there are certain successes. Much of the above studies are heavy on theory and subjective conjecture, and lack practical basis because they were hard out before and during the preparation period for the application of IFRS in Vietnam. Okay, okay, I go into the last paragraph. Okay, I continue for here. Another aspect, some previous studies have mentioned the factor affecting the application of IFRS. However, previous studies have not provided convincing evidence that in addition to macro environment factors, the application of IFRS to companies is also affected by many micro factors belonging to each company. Therefore, our paper expand on previous study by considering the possibility of the influence of micro and macro factors affecting the application of IFRS. We expected that the effective factor on IFRS adoption have changed over time in emerging countries due to their broad participation in accounting, commerce, and global economic integration. Okay. Our studies continue to contribute to studies on the impact of factors on the use of IFRS in emerging economy. The research is both topical and meaningful in both theory and practice. The study is topical because the application of IFRS is a hot global issue, attracting the attention of many parties, especially the tremendous pressure to protect investors and improve transparency and information disclosure. Furthermore, the research makes a significant contribution to building a theoretical framework that fully and comprehensively systems the factors impacting the application of IFRS in enterprise. In practical terms, the study showed the influence of elements on the application of IFRS, thereby making recommendations to overcome, improve the necessary conditions, and create favorable in conditions for applying IFRS in enterprises and emerging economy, in which Vienna is an example. Our findings are directly related to current famous debate about the Roman content, how to apply IFRS, and the factor affecting the application of IFRS enterprises en Vietnam. Ok, eso es un marco teórico, pero en la introducción en sí se encuentra casi que todo un resumen de lo que se estará hablando durante el tema. Bueno, en Science Direct investigué un poco sobre el análisis de los factores que afectan la adopción de las NIIF en una economía emergente. Y podemos comprender en el párrafo, más que todo en la parte superior, que el aumento del comercio internacional ha requerido urgentemente que los países adopten rápidamente las NIIF, contribuyendo así que la reducción de la desigualdad de ingresos, ya que las NIIF controlan un poco de los ingresos y tienen un mejor movimiento financiero. La adopción de las NIIF se ha convertido en un componente esencial de la globalización. Claro, estaban hablando como de unos 160 países en el mundo que están tomando esta modalidad. La aplicación de las NIIF no solo mejora la calidad de los estados financieros, sino que ayuda también a reducir la gestión de ingresos y facilita el reconocimiento oportuno de pérdidas y proporciona valores más relevantes. Así que las NIIF se encuentran en casi todos los países, en 160 países, y en una de ellas estaban hablando un poco de Vietnam, que tomó esa educación, me parece que en el 1999, para poder mejorar sus ingresos, y el cual fue de gran ayuda. Eso sería todo por hoy. Mi nombre es Carlos Andrés Guisao. Hasta luego, muchas gracias.